on this Google Hangout. We are going to be chatting today to one of our students, Dee McMeekin. I am Zoe, UK course consultant for the UK Academy of Wedding and Event Planning, and this Google Hangout today is going to be chatting with Dee about how she started her wedding business. She's done a course with us, and the progress that she's made. So, morning, Dee. Hi.
Hi, Zoe. Thanks for having us. Great to talk to you today.
Yeah, no problem. Nice to see you face to face. We've never actually met in person, but we've chatted on the phone a minute ago, and I think you've met Kylie, our director, haven't you?
I have, yes, a couple of times.
Yeah. So anyway, nice to see you this morning. So I want to just have a chat with you about where you started, sort of just go back. So in the beginning, what were you doing, and how did you come to choose one of our courses?
Well, I was working as a primary school teacher, and I'd always had a fascination with weddings, even from being a child. I think I went to my first wedding at about the age of 4 or 5, and for me it was so exciting being so young and just having the whole experience and seeing everybody get so excited over weddings. So I then got married myself 10 years ago, and like most of the students that come to the academy, you plan your own wedding and then you think, wow, really love doing this. So, you know, maybe I should go and kind of learn how to do it properly. So for me, I loved the whole styling side of things as well as the organisational side. So I chose to do the diploma in wedding planning and styling and design because that kind of combined everything together for me. And what I loved about the course with you is that you have such a mixture of, you know, video online for you. Everything is so up to date, and you know, I just found it fascinating and interesting, as well as having business side to it in the diploma as well, which obviously I found I really needed when I started my own business up.
Yeah. So how long did the course take you? Do you know how long it took you?
Just over 2 years.
Oh, okay. So yeah, but you just worked at it. You were working and doing other things.
Yeah, I had actually set up my own business and I was doing the course at the same time.
Okay, so you didn't get to those business units. Obviously, they're at the end of the course. So you'd already set up. You had your ideas. You got a website. Were you already working?
I was, yeah.
Yeah, and then so then you got to those business units at the end. They sort of helped you. Have they helped you to look at your business again?
They have helped me hugely. There's so much in those units alone, that because I had the experience, I was able to put things into practice very quickly. I kind of did things in reverse. Should have done the course first, learned about the business, and then set it up, which would be the recommended way to do it. But I kind of did it in reverse, and I was then able to apply things very quickly.
Yeah. So were you still working as a primary school teacher? How did that crossover happen?
I set up the business in 2011, and at that stage I was still working full time. Yeah. So when I say the business, I really just had a website and I was trying to see could I get any business, and attended my first wedding fair. And then I think about 9 months later I then went part-time teaching, and then made the final jump 3 years ago and just came home one day and said to my husband, that's it, I'm handing in my resignation this week. And bless him, he said, okay.
Yeah, well, sometimes, you know, you just got to go for it. And by putting that pressure on yourself, sometimes that helps you. You know, you probably wouldn't have done all of the things, the promotion, the thought, the business planning that you've done if you were still teaching. You know, when you put that pressure on yourself and say, I am actually going to do this, and you tell people and you put it out there, you know, you come home and, you know, it would be fairly obvious when you've left your job that you're going to do something else. I think that sometimes that's the final push that you need to make the success, or to see if, you know, it's what you like and what you enjoy or what you thought it was going to be.
Absolutely. There's no other way of doing it than just throwing yourself into something wholeheartedly.
Yeah. So with that in mind, what's been your biggest learning curves?
Oh my goodness, I think for me marketing has been, because I didn't come from a business background at all, and nobody in my family had, you know, set up their own businesses or anything like that. So a huge amount to learn about how you present yourself and how to find an ideal client. That wasn't something that I had thought about at all. And I think I probably spent a couple of years doing lots of different types of weddings and lots of different styles of weddings with different types of clients. And it was only then, probably through the course and through being advised to kind of, niche things down and see who you actually want to work with, that I started to look for patterns and kind of look and see, is there a particular type of bride that I really enjoy working with? And am I attracting a certain type of bride? And when I did my analysis, I actually found that there was a lot of similarities between what I would have classified as the weddings I enjoyed planning the most and styling the most. So I think the learning curve on figuring out who you actually are as a business and where you want to take your business is a huge learning curve, and I think I'm still on that. I wouldn't say that I've kind of reached knowing exactly everything just yet. And the other thing I would say that's been a big learning curve is realizing how long everything takes. You think initially that, oh yeah, I can get that done in 2 hours, it will take me 3 hours. And then you suddenly realize 5 hours later, oh no. But I think the
planning of the wedding.
Absolutely, the planning, and when you're doing a setup on somebody's wedding day as well. When you're not used to it, it's a lot slower. Obviously, the more you do, the faster you get, and the better you become at gauging how long things are going to take.
Yeah.
But I remember when I started off in kind of the first wedding setups that I would have done a number of years ago, I was like phoning the venues and seeing how early I could get in on the day and getting in early just in case I didn't have enough time to get things done, and even kind of going in the day before as well if there was a possibility of doing that.
It does help going in the day before because it just settles you. It makes you feel more confident that everything's ready, and then because I think that's what it is. Once you've done it a few times, then you're confident that you can achieve it, and you've worked it all through a few times, and you know where you're going with it. And when it's the first few times, it does take a bit longer, and you do speed up. So has that affected your pricing then?
Yes, definitely, because when you kind of work out the number of hours that you spend on something and how much you're charging, you kind of want to be working for a little bit more than minimum wage, and sometimes when you've managed to get things wrong. So yeah, it gives you more of a feel of how much you want to be earning per hour, say, and being able to price things accordingly on that, and recognizing that actually, although if you're hiring stock to somebody, the stock itself may not be expensive, but your time to have it prepared, to actually put it out on the tables, to actually get to the venue, then collect it the next day, put it back into stock again, all of that needs to be incorporated into your actual pricing scheme.
Yeah, so when you first started out, you said about learning to target the right brides now, taking you a few years. Was your website just a blanket, I'll plan your wedding for you?
Absolutely. Weddings, brides, that was good enough for me. Yeah. Weddings, brides, local to me, based in Warwickshire, was probably as specific as I actually got. Whereas now it's obviously changed and evolved, and I deal much more with brides who are looking for a traditional style wedding with a modern twist that wants to put their own little individual stamp into there and have things personalised, but that they already have their ideas, but they just need that extra bit of support to get them together and then to be there on the day for them.
Yeah, so do you think, we were talking that maybe your website now is evolving and changing, and that shows, in the pictures, the images, in the styling, is that, a way of showing who you're trying to attract? Definitely.
I'm in the process at the moment of updating my website yet again and making sure that the images that are there are the images that I want to represent my business, and make sure they're the ones that I am, proud of, and they're the ones that I want people to say, oh, that's the kind of work that I would like. So really making sure that there's a total match between my ideal client, what they're looking for, and what I really enjoy doing.
Yeah, so it's allowed you to be a bit more selective as well.
Yes,
whereas in the beginning, we all do it, you're just, anything will do to get my name out there and get that experience, and then you're in that position now where you're just honing to, to make it work for you, and be a profitable business, but also one that you enjoy, and that's important too, because it does obviously take up, as you said, a lot of time, and if you're not enjoying it, and if you're not getting the right kind of clients and brides, and just as you said, for a very minimum wage, then there's no fun in that. You've obviously, you've got a success now, and you've branched out to other things. So you do. You talked then about delivering your items out and things. So do you have a hire business as well?
Yes, we do. What we do is we have a hire business that parallels, and then we obviously have a styling business as well.
So are you more design and styling, or do you do both? You cover the planning and the organising as well?
We cover both, but we predominantly do more styling than planning.
Okay. And was that a conscious, or is that sort of how it's gone? Is that where the market is for you?
For me at the moment, that's where the market has gone. And then for my planning side of things, I kind of do my planning in a different way. I don't deal with just one client. I deal with groups of clients. I've produced my own wedding magazine, which is an app in app form, goes onto iPads and iPhones, called My Wedding Mentor. So I have tended to write more about wedding planning and provide kind of resources for people to inform brides-to-be about what they need to be looking for during the wedding planning process. And then where I do wedding planning, I tend to do much more on the day coordination than planning full weddings.
Okay, so that's good. So your app, My Wedding Mentor, provides the brides with a tool to plan their own wedding.
Yes, that's right.
Because you're doing more event stuff, that kind of goes alongside with what you're doing. It doesn't stop them using you still though for that planning. You don't, it didn't sort of take that market away.
Absolutely not. I think that there will always be some people that won't use a wedding planner, and they need to find information somewhere. So it's a resource that there is a group of people that are looking for in any case. And I think you can look at it from the other way, that when they realize how much is involved, more people are actually going to go, actually, do you know what? I think I might need a wedding planner. And here's the person that knows what they're talking about.
It's such a shame this job doesn't have much repeat business. I mean, we would be laughing.
Yes.
Most people, obviously, it's just the one wedding. But, the number of times people have said to me, oh, I didn't realise till I'd done it how difficult it was, how much time it took. Oh, if only I'd known, of course I would have used a wedding planner. But, obviously by then it's been and gone, hasn't it? So I think you're right to look at other angles for your business, and I think that's a good thing for our other students to think about, future students, is not just going down one path, is just opening it up and seeing where, like you said, you've done some analysis, seeing where those people are and what they want, and then trying to provide something that will work for them. So you've got more ideas as well. You've got a training session, a design and training session planned in January, haven't you?
That's right. In about 2 weeks' time, I'll be down in London. I've teamed up with a London-based florist, and what we're doing is having a hands-on day where we're going to train people how to put their styling ideas to style their wedding reception tables together in just one day. So it's really kind of like a crash course for brides so that they can get their ideas together, targeting some of the DIY market. But I think I would expect also that when people come and they see what's involved and the different levels and layers of detail that you need to put on a table, that I think a lot of them will then kind of realize, actually, I can't do all of this myself. So that they then start looking for, wedding stylists to pull all of their different ideas together.
Yeah, and I think also the course, I know some of our students have been interested maybe in attending, but the course does work for people that want practical hands-on experience. We have a few students who do our event design course, and they want to be designers, but they are also needing some practical, some ways to practice what they're doing. Obviously our courses are online, but this is a good way for them to branch out maybe with courses like this and learn some of those techniques and actually feel it and see it and do it live with you. So that's good. And you've as you said, you've teamed up with a florist, and that's making those links and those connections with people is really good, isn't it?
Absolutely. The more that you're developing yourself and developing links with other people, the more ideas that it generates and creates. I mean, 12 months ago, I didn't even think about doing a wedding experience workshop at all. And now I'm kind of like 2 weeks away from doing one for the first time, and I'm not even doing it in my own locality. So it's
absolutely. It's another one of those, just go for it and see what happens. So how can they find out about the course if people are interested?
If you look for #WedPrepLondon, that will pop up all of our event pages and Eventbrite page for the tickets as well.
Okay, so will any future events go on that?
Yes, there will be. There will be more coming up. We don't have any dates fixed as of yet. I think we've got one coming up that's more aimed at brides to be in March time in Warwickshire. Again, as kind of like an introductory day to wedding planning with a load of different suppliers in different areas. So,
oh, exciting! You're busy.
I'm very busy at the moment, yeah.
But that's good. That feels great, doesn't it, when it's like that? And you know, you think you just sometimes just got to go for it. Throw all these things out there, see which ones that work, do the analysis afterwards, decide, okay, maybe this one didn't work, but this one was great, or I can build on this one because I spoke to some of the people there and there's more to offer, and just work like that and see. And like you said, it's not necessarily a quick process, growing your business and evolving your business, but if you work hard at it, and you make those reflections and those decisions, then you know you can move forward. So what would you say have been your proudest moments?
I think for me, it's kind of when you get through doing things for the first time, so like getting your first booking, and then definitely for me would be getting my first on-the-day coordination. When you've done the whole day, you've been up since God knows what time in the morning, you've been on your feet all day, the adrenaline has been pumping and rushing, you've been chasing somebody on the wedding day, and then you can finally stop, relax, go home, sit down, take the heels off, let the feet rest, and then go, oh my goodness, I've actually managed to do that. And I've done it well. And when you're leaving and the bride and groom are saying to you, do you know what, we couldn't have done that without you today, and we really appreciate all of the help that you've given us, we've had such a fantastic day. Well, that's really why you're doing the job. So I think for me,
I don't think that ever changes. You know, you still feel each time, you still feel proudest whether you've you know, all the little things that have gone on, that's sort of, it's not stress, but that sort of heightened, or you know, I want to get everything right is there on the day, you know, and that stays no matter how many weddings you've done. And then that moment of, it was a great day and everybody's really happy in it and it worked out, and when you leave, as you said, is always you know, a proud, successful moment. It's really nice. It obviously then leads on to next things, and you know, wherever else you're going to go in your future, and I'm sure you've got lots of ideas. But what would you say would be a tip for our students who haven't even thought about starting their business yet, or are just starting a course or thinking about starting a course? What would you suggest?
I would say keep asking questions. The teacher in me says there is no such thing as a stupid question, and it's so true, and I don't think people ask enough. Everybody started, and the worst that somebody can say is no. So, you know, ask people. If they're not going to, you're not asking for their insider business secrets, but most people will give you an idea of how they went about doing something, or where you can go to find the information out. I mean, I found my very first supplier that I buy a lot of my stock from for doing my styling. I found that from being at a wedding fair one day, where a florist came over to me and just started chatting and said, oh, where do you buy your things from? And I said, well, at the moment I'm going here and here. And she said, no, you need to go to this place. They're much cheaper. There you go. And from there, I've saved a lot of money. I also spent a lot of money in the same place. So I think asking questions massively, and particularly when you're at wedding fairs, when you start doing wedding fairs, talk to other suppliers. Make sure that you get to know them as much as, you know, as much as you possibly can. A wedding fair is as much about networking with one or two suppliers that are there as it is, you know, to get kind of, you know, get the attention of the brides and grooms and potential clients. I think I'd also say go and talk to people in venues. Everybody has an idea of the style of wedding that you kind of you're drawn towards, whether they're barn weddings, marquees, 5-star venues, you know, DIY weddings, and go and talk to the venues, and go talk to the people that organise the weddings there, and go in and tell them, you know, I'm thinking a bit of setting up a business as a local wedding planner, and I'd like to see what your venue is like and what you offer. That gets them in the door. There's no business that's going to turn you down when you say, actually, do you know what? Maybe I could bring you business. They are going to go out of their way to schedule an appointment. But that gets you in, and then kind of, you know, in a casual conversation when they're showing you around the venue, it's a great way to drop in your ideas and how you might be able to help their venue. And you know, start doing that as early as you can, because those are the kind of conversations that not everybody has. Not everybody will go out there and do that. So you're going to be a step ahead of everybody else just by doing that.
And I think it's that thing of, you know, if they don't know you're out there, then they're not going to use you, they're not going to recommend you, they're not going to have conversations with you. You have to put yourself to them first, suggest, I am here, this is what we could do, you know, even if it's just meeting them, so that when a client comes you can say, oh yeah, I know so and so at that venue, yeah, great, and you just appear, you know, like you've got that knowledge and that background. But if people don't know you're out there, like you said, speak to people, be brave. What have you got to lose? It is a little bit of confidence, obviously, but in a small way, if you start that, then that helps you with your ability to sell yourself and your business, and that will be important if you're going to make a success of it.
Exactly. And you don't want to be the best kept secret in the world. You might be the best person at what you do, but if nobody knows that you can do it, well, there's no point in being the best kept secret.
I know, you're so right, and now I'm thinking, well, what am I going to do? I'm sort of fired up for today. I've got to go out there and, you know, meet a few more people and start chatting more and networking. As these conversations always do, they always sort of spark something, don't they? And they draw you back to thinking about your business, which is really important, as well as doing the work for your clients. Your business needs to be the thing that you focus on too, to make it a success. So thank you so much, Dee, for talking to us today. It's been great. I wish you every success. We will follow and keep people up to date on Facebook and our blog with how things go with you. But let us know how the course goes, where you progress, and I think our students will be really thankful for some of your advice. So thank you for speaking to us today.
That's no problem. Thank you very much for having us.